Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you here. Today I'm going to be telling you about all of the books that I'm super excited to read. I've had these on my TBR for ever. At least it feels like. I'm so antsy to read them. I feel like they're going to be really good. Hopefully. Cross our fingers. So I've been reading everything on Unlimited for the past 6 months. When I first got my Kindle, I got the 3-month free trial, and then I went to cancel that, and then they were like, oh, you can get 3 more months for like $2, and I was like, why would I not do that? So I did it, and then they screwed up my thing, so they were charging me full price. So I contacted the customer service, and they were like, oh, okay, well, if you just keep your membership on, we'll just refund you for the 3 months that you're supposed to get, and we'll just give it to you for free. I was like, okay, I can do that. But I just don't want to waste that. You know, I didn't want to be reading all like my main books and then just reading like a few on my Kindle, just because I feel like it was kind of wasteful. So I decided to just stick with reading all that on Unlimited while I had it. And then now that is going to be over come end of August, I'm going to transition into all my physical books. So these are the ones that I'm super eager to read. But I'm going to get into it because I'm keeping on talking. So the first book that we have is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't know when this is set. Late 60s. It's in the late 60s. That makes sense. Okay. So this, all I really know about it is it's like a band type thing. And it's kind of set in the olden days, which I think is nice. I think it's cool. It's a little different. I don't normally read stuff like this, I feel like. But I've been enjoying more... I almost said prehistoric. That's not what I meant. I enjoy more books set in the olden times in like 1900s and stuff like that. I feel like it's just more different. Because obviously we're in 2023 right now, and so there's not much of this vibe going on. So very exciting. I'm very excited to read this. Hopefully it's good. I think I've only read one other Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I liked it pretty good. It wasn't necessarily my favorite. It was just kind of like I was reading it and I was like, oh, like that's cool, it's entertaining, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I just resonate with this book so well. It was not bad. I liked it. I think I gave it like 4 stars. So hopefully this one lives up to all the hype because everybody really likes this one. And also the Prime show, I've saw like a couple clips about that, and it looks really good. So if it's anything, if the vibes are the same as the show as they are in the book, it's gonna be a good one. Next, we have Shatter Me by, is this Tahiri Mafi? Hopefully. But I've heard great things about this book. I've heard so many people that love this series, and I want to love it too. I really do. I just want to jump on the bandwagon with a lot of these books. But I think this one's like a dystopian type vibe, and I like my dystopian books, so hopefully this one lives up to the hype. I've been eyeballing, I keep eating my hair, I've been eyeballing this Amazon listing that they have the full set of like 9 books, and that's including all the novellas, but they're like the ones squished together, which I don't like that. Let's talk about that for just a second. Why do they have the novellas together? I don't like that. Like, I want to actually check off an individual book after I finish reading this. I want to set this book aside and be done with it. Not to have to pick it up randomly again in the middle of the series and be like, okay, now I need to like thumb through and find this whole other book that's inside of it. I don't like that. I would rather just get them all individually, and I can't find them individually anywhere. Plus, here's another thing. I think that the covers on those, I think that they do like one cover for the, obviously they do one cover for the both of them, but they pick one of the 2 covers to use for both of them, and they're always the uglier covers, in my opinion. They're not the pretty ones. So, I don't like that. But you can't do anything about it. I can't find them anywhere. So, I'm just gonna have to get over it. But this one, I'm excited to read it. Hopefully, I can get the full series, because I just want to get the full series before I start it. I really do. So those books normally go from like 60 something on Amazon, and I've been trying to watch them and see whenever they get like a really good price, then I can get them then. Next, we have Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen, and I am so excited about this. I don't know why. Every time I would go to Target, I would see this book and I'd walk past it and be like, I really want to get it. But it was $16 in the store, and then on the app it was also $16. So you couldn't price match it for any cheaper. Those of you that don't know, you can price match books at Target, and do that because it's a heck of a lot cheaper. So I finally just ended up getting this one. I think I got it for like $2 cheaper at some point, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get it because I really want to. And look at this. Like, this is just like the ultimate floppy book. This is like the perfect book, and the cover is really cute. I really like it. I like the colored words on the back. So I'm very, very excited about this one. I really don't know what it's about, but kind of like read a little bit on the back for you. It says it's December 23rd, 1971, and heavy war I'll get it at some point. I do. And heavy weather is forecasted in Chicago. Russ, the associate pastor of a liberal suburban church, is on the brink of breaking free of a marriage he finds joyless, unless his wife, who has her own secret life, beats him to it. And there's like a bunch more stuff in it, but that's kind of like, I guess, the gist of it. But I don't know. It's about a pastor. Like, that's kind of unique. I don't know. I want to see whether this pastor like succeeds, if he's like actually a good pastor, like what the vibe is. And also it's set in 1971. So again, I feel like it's going to give those old school vibes, and I'm here for it. So hopefully this is a really good one because I have really high expectations. Next, Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This one, like, there's really nothing to explain about this. You know, everybody loves this, and I want to too. I want to be the fantasy girly. I want to become obsessed with these books, and hopefully I can. Hopefully. That's the goal. I don't know anything about this. I honestly don't really want to know anything about this. I kind of just want to go into it blind and go from there. But again, I've heard many of great things from this series, and hopefully I enjoy it as well. That's the goal. With all of these, obviously, I want to enjoy them all. The next one that we have is A Good Marriage by Kimberly McCreight. And I saw this one on Book of the Month one month, and I wanted to get it, but it was sold out, and then I could never find it anywhere else, and then just randomly it showed up at Target, and I was like, oh, perfect. Great. I would love that. So I ended up getting it, and I really don't know much about this one. It says, with a new job in New York's elite law firm and her brilliant, devoted husband, Sam, Lizzie had everything she'd ever wanted, and then suddenly it all fell apart. No, that was a lie. It wasn't sudden, was it? Ooh. Long ago, the cracks in Lizzie's marriage had started to show. She was just good at averting her eyes. The last thing she needs is to get involved in a murder case, but her old friend Zach is desperate. His wife Amanda is found dead at the bottom of the stairs in their Brooklyn brownstone, and Zach's the primary suspect. And again, it talks a little bit more about the back. I want to know why their marriage is falling apart. I want to know what's going on. I love marriage problems. Like, not actually, but like, I love reading about problems, so that way I can make sure that I don't have to deal with it in mine, which I feel like that's smart. But anyways, very excited for this one. As all of them, I'm very excited for all of them. Probably should just stop saying that. Next, The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I saw this one on a TikTok. This girl was doing like her makeup or whatever, and she was talking about the story, and I was like, that sounds so unbelievable, but it sounds kind of juicy. Like, I'm intrigued, but it doesn't sound real. And then like halfway through, I was like, oh, that's not real. Like, what are we doing? And it was a book. It was this book. And then I immediately purchased it. Immediately. But everybody says this is really good, and I really do like Frida McFadden. So hopefully it is good. I like her plot twists. They're normal plot twists. I feel like a lot of people have plot twists where you're like, what? Like, where did that come from? How did that happen? What are we doing? But she doesn't disappoint. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'll give you an example. So I was reading this one book. I don't remember what it's called. I don't remember who's by, and I'm not going to tell you anything other than just kind of like the end, what happened. I'm going to just spoil the whole thing for you, but you're not going to know what it is. But basically, we're trying to find out who is murdering these people, and there's like a couple of people that are suspects, a couple of people that we're thinking of could possibly be the ones doing it. And so you get to the very end and you have like your mind made up. You're like, okay, this is who did it, right? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it was me, yeah, but like it was mainly my mom. And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even know you had a mom. Your mom was not mentioned anywhere in this entire book, and yet all of a sudden, like, your mom's the one murdering all these people? Like, what? I don't know. But I was really thrown off. So, our books are not like that, thankfully. They're actually reasonable plot twists. So, next we have Tinder is the Flesh. I don't think I've ever read a horror book other than like those little ones that I read in middle school, and this one is classified as that, and I'm kind of excited for it. All I really know about this one is that something's going on with their government, and then the government like legalizes human meat, and I think this guy works at like a factory where they get the human meat. They work at a processing plant. Sounds interesting. Next, we have The Stranger in the Lifeboat by Mitch Abram, and I just randomly picked this up at Target because, like, look at it. It's so cute. It's like a matte cover. It's got some texture on it. I love the cover. It's really cute. It's got the fancy pages. I don't remember the technical term for that. But I don't know, I saw it and I picked it up and I was like, that looks really good, I want to get it. And then I was like, I should probably read the back and make sure it sounds good. But it says, what would happen if we cried out to God for help and someone claiming to be God actually appeared before us? A group of shipwrecked passengers must face that challenge when a strange man that they pull from the water says that he can save them all, but only if they believe in him. Wow. Now, I'm one of those people, like, whenever I read my Bible and stuff like that and I'm listening to the stories, and I just sit there and I think to myself, like, would I believe that if I were in the Bible? Like, I feel like I would, right? I feel like if God were right in front of me talking to me, like, I would be like, yeah, okay, this is God. Or if, you know, just some of the things that people aren't believing, I'm like, why would you not believe that? Why would you do this? Why would you not, like, understand that? How do you not get that? You know, so it's interesting to see this because now it's like, is it really God? Like, how do they know? Are they going to believe in him? Are they not going to believe in him? Like, would I believe? Would I not? I don't know. So, I just feel like this is going to get me deep into my critical thinking brain, and I'm really excited for it. Also, a fun fact with this book, Nick, whenever he first left, he's deployed right now. Whenever he first left, he got me a book while he was gone, and he was like, oh, I know you can't read it, but, you know, I'm just going to get you a sweet book. So he gets me this book. I don't think anything of it, whatever. I'm talking to Nick about this the other day, and I was like, oh, I think it sounds really good. I think you should read it and let me know what you think of it, and then I can read it from there. And he was like, okay, whatever. So I got it for him on his Kindle. Then he's showing me his book, like, the very next day that he got me over there, and he was like, look how cool it is. And a book of a little lifeboat out in the water. I was like, no way. No way. So he literally got me an alternate version of this book. So, and I like, as he was showing me, I was like, oh, you're gonna have to translate it for me so I actually know what it's about. No, not anymore, because I already have it and I'm very excited to read it. So I'm just assuming that means that it's gonna be a really, really good book since I already have a different cover for it. So, moving on. Next we have The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Now, shoot, I watched Knives Out and I really liked it, and everybody says that this kind of reminds them of that movie, so I just have high hopes for this. I have high expectations. You know, I know that it's kind of YA and stuff like that, and I feel like, isn't there like a love triangle in this or something? Is there? There's some kind of triangle. Whether or not it's love, I don't really care, but I feel like that's gonna get messy and interesting, so I'm excited. I've had these sitting on my shelf for a while. I have the whole series and I'm just very eager to read it. Oh, now this next one might offend some people. Not that I really care, but the next one is Verity by Colleen Hoover. Now I know some people have some harsh opinions on Coho, and personally I don't really care. Like, I'm not saying she's right, I'm not saying she's wrong, I'm not saying you're right or you're wrong for like having your own opinions, right? Go for it. I like reading messy sometimes. I like reading intense. I like, dare I say, sometimes I like reading toxic. I know that's bad. For me, I feel like it's bad. But sometimes it's just really interesting. I like reading about problems. Because like I said, it's interesting to see people's problems and then them working it out. Even if it is fictional, right? They're working out their problems. So then I have a better insight of like, oh, if something like this happens to me, what would I do? So I just don't really care. But we have this one. Now, everybody says this is a thriller. Do I really think that it's a thriller? No. Not particularly. I'm not going to classify this as a thriller. Obviously, I haven't read it yet, and I don't know what it's about. The only thing I know about this is something about a manuscript. Like, that's literally it. So I don't know anything about it. But I'm not going to go in this being like, oh yeah, this is a thriller, because it's no Frida McFadden, right? This is no Alice Feeney. It's just not. Like, she writes romance novels. Romance. But nonetheless, I feel like this is gonna be really good. I was expecting it to be really good whenever I bought it. Obviously. Next, we have, if I can get it out of the stack. Next, we have Happy Place by Emily Henry. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like this or not. Honestly, I've heard some people say it's really good. I've heard some people say it's like okay, and there's issues and whatever, and there's things that happen that they're like, come on, just have a conversation. And sometimes that annoys me. Sometimes when we can't just chat and whatever and solve this massive, huge ordeal that would just eradicate itself by one singular conversation, sometimes I get a little irritated. And I've heard that kind of happens in this. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping, I've heard a lot of people say that this has a really good setting, and I really liked the setting from Summer Broken Rules. Like, really liked the setting from that, so I'm hoping it kind of gives me similar vibes. Just summery, fun, exciting, friends, all the good stuff. And then last but not least, we have A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. Now I got this one from Book of the Month, and I read the other book of hers, the All the Dangerous Things or something like that, and I really liked it. That was probably the first like thriller book that I read recently. And I gave it 5 stars. Like, I was shocked. I had to spend the whole day talking to Nick about it. Loved it. So I was like, why not be super excited about this one then? Because I heard great things before I even got it. Now, I read the other book and I'm like, ooh, it's gonna be good. But I think this is like her first book that she had written, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really know, but I feel like that's true. Could not be. But I hope it's gonna be good. If it's anything similar to like the last book, or you know, similar vibes and stuff, it's gonna be good. I already know it. So I'm very excited to read this one. Hopefully it lives up to the hype of that last book, that it was probably one of my first 5-star reads getting back into reading. Those are all of my really, really highly anticipated books that I have for just getting back into my physical TBR. Now, obviously, I'm somewhat excited to read all of my books, but you know, there's some that you're more excited to read than others. As I just showed you, the ones that I'm more excited to read than the others. But these are probably not going to be touched for a while, because I like to read all of the books that I'm least excited for first and save the ones that I'm really excited for the end. To which most people are not like that. Most people read the books that they're really excited for first and then leave the ones that they aren't excited for last. But I like to have something to look forward to. I'm like, once I finish this book that I'm like not necessarily super eager for, then I can pick up one of these books, right? And so that's just kind of how that works for me. So we'll see. Hopefully I get to them in a timely fashion. Hopefully I don't just zoom through all these and then I don't have any regular books to read. But we'll see how this goes. Hopefully I will get to them soon, because I can't wait. But anyways, that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening to me talk about this forever. I'm greatly appreciative of you, and I cannot wait to see you hopefully in the next one. See ya.